Hi everyone, check the timestamps if you want as we go through all my counts on the macro, high time frame, medium time frame and the low time frame, including potential trading setups, starting with the macro bullish scenario where this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 and then a wave 5 with the most common target being between 98k and 174k. Wave 4 had three nice confluences over here. We had the 0.5 bounce, which is perfect from the low of 2 to the high of 3. We had a high volume peak at the lows of 4, which can signal a reversal just like it did at the low of wave 2. And the low was made exactly at the 0.618 fib time taken from the low of 2 to the high of 3. Potential trading setup then is to find some resistance, have a little bit of a retracement, enter the longs, stop loss below 4 and then trading it to the upside in a very big swing trade. If we look at the bearish scenario, we then have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So wave 5 would be already finished. I don't necessarily like this wave 4 as it is very short compared to wave 2. However, it is still possible where we then have a W, X, and eventually a wave Y to the downside with targets basically between like 9 to 12k. We are at an important area as this is a support resistance area over here. We have a weekly order block and a high time frame range value area low that we have touched twice now. So that is a quite important area. Potential trading setup is to enter shorts in this area, stop loss safely above and then trading it to the downside. If we then look at the high time frame very bullish scenario, this is one that I've seen here and there online as well, where we then have a 1, 2, 3, 4 end of wave 1, followed by the end of wave 2, and then a move to the upside in which we are now, all the way up in a very big, impulsive, bullish wave 3. The minimum target would be 43k basically, but this wave 3 can extend all the way up. And yeah, this is currently an alternative scenario, and the reason why mainly is because this wave 2 is very short. It basically stopped at the 0.236 fib time taken from the low of 1 to the high of 1, and usually a wave 2 goes to at least the 0.382, which was then the 21st of March, but as you can see, wave 2 did not hit it. It already moved to the upside. And also the volume at the moment between the highs that we have over here, we're creating new highs, but the volume is slowing down, which is not a bullish sign. If we then go to the other bullish scenario that I have, we have a WXYXZ over here in the correction, which then is the low of the bear market, where wave Z hit the 0.618, which is a rare target for wave Z, taken from the all-time high to the low of W to then the high of wave X. Absolutely possible, but in this scenario, wave 1 is not yet finished. We then have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I like this scenario because now we would touch this support resistance area. We would touch the high time frame range value area low again, which we already have done of course. And there's a couple of other reasons, which I will show you in a second. So this could be then the end of a wave 1. And then we can move to the downside for wave 2 with a potential trading setups of entering the shorts over here, safe stop loss, move to the downside. Now if we look at the volume of the impulse, which then is this structure, we're looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we can see that in this wave 3, volume went up very nicely. We can also see if this is a nice wave 5, volume in this wave 5 at the moment is lower, which is exactly what you want to see between a 3 and a 5. You want to see the volume going down. So that makes it actually quite interesting for this to be the high of 1 and then get a retracement, where the rare target for wave 2 is a 0.382, but the most common targets for wave 2 is a 0.5 to the 0.786. So once the high is in, we can get exact targets about these fibs over here, as now of course we don't yet fully know. The most common target for wave 2 is the golden pocket over here, which at the moment has nice confluence with these lows for some extra liquidity, entering potential longs then, as it is still a bullish scenario for this, then a wave 2 towards a wave 3 to the upside, stop loss below Z and then trading it all the way to 100k basically. If we then look at the bearish scenario, we have the all-time high over here in a W, then we have a X, and then we're basically looking for a Y to the downside with targets between about 13 to 9k. Now in this scenario, the wave X, the red X, is an ABC expanding flat with then in this C a 1, 2, 3, 4 wave 5. The wave 5, again, most common target area is between the 1.236 and the 1.618, taken from the high of 3 to the low of 4. So this area in general is a very important area where we are at the moment. It also now has confluence, of course, with the most common wave C target, which is between the 1.618 over here and this 1.618 at 34k. So we're already ranging here. We have the high time frame range value area low, which we of course already have hit twice now. And another thing that is very important is that the higher target of this wave 5, the 1.618, sitting at 29.6k, has confluence with the 0.382 taken from the all-time high to the low of W, which usually is a minimum target for a wave X. So that makes the 29.6 level very interesting. Of course, you have the 30k number, which is very interesting. Support resistance area over here, which is very interesting. So yeah, there's a couple of things going on, and we have even more confluences in this area, as I will show you on the lower time frame counts. In this scenario, however, we would then have a potential short setup, entering the shorts in this area, stop loss safely above, trading it to the downside for then a wave Y. If we then go to the medium time frame scenarios, I have two scenarios for you on this time frame. I have a very bullish scenario and basically the bullish/bearish scenario, as the trading setup doesn't really matter for that scenario. So then we have over here, we have a 1-2 and another 1-2. So in this scenario, we have wave 1 already finished, wave 2 is finished, and we are now in this very big bullish wave 3, right, all the way to the moon. So in this scenario, we then have a 1-2, 1-2, and we're looking for like 3, or this wave 2 is not yet finished and this is only the beginning, and then a B, and then eventually a C down, and then wave 2 is going to finish somewhere here, which could be quite nice. Why? Because the 0.382 is a rare target for a wave 2 and not a common target. So as mentioned, the 0.5 till the 0.786 is more common, which is below here. So yeah, this is quite rare, but it is possible. Also FIB time wise, hitting this target between the 0.5 and the 0.618, the vertical lines, is also quite nice. However, the reason this is an alternative for me nonetheless is that this wave 2 just missed out on hitting this 0.382 target, which already is a rare target, and missing out on this is even more rare. Secondly, the volume over here, yes, it went up in this wave 1, very nice, but from that moment it actually died, and as you can see, volume is kind of nowhere to be seen still. Yes, we have a little bit of a spike, but it's not what you want to see. If this is a wave 3 of a bigger wave 3, you want to see it bam, you know, you want to see it go up, up, up with very big candles even on the lower time frames, and at the moment we are not getting that. We're more like ranging sideways at the moment. So yeah, that I think is quite important to know. So yeah, this is currently an alternative scenario, with this still being my preferred scenario, honestly. Of course, shorting in a bull market, or at least that's what it stands now, because we are moving to the upside, is risky. So make sure you have a solid trading strategy, entry requirements, everything necessary to trade for yourself. But in this scenario, we have the wave 5 target here once again, pulled from the high of 3 to the low of 4. So we are ranging inside this area. And the potential trading setup here is entering the shorts in this area. For me, the high time frame range value area low to basically the 30k area is very interesting. Actually, all the way to 32k is very interesting. So have a safe stop loss, moving it to the downside in this potential trading setup. It is a bullish and bearish scenario, because you can see this can be the end of wave 1 and the end of wave X, because trading wise it doesn't matter. The target for wave 1 and wave X is both exactly the same. The only difference is how long are you going to keep the short. For a wave 1, if this is a 1 looking for a wave 2, the short will be, well, 0.5 golden pocket, maybe 786 if you're lucky. But then eventually for a wave Y, we're looking for much lower targets, so you can hold it for longer. That's basically the only difference in this scenario between the bullish and the bearish scenario. If we then go to the lower time frames, I have two scenarios that I want to show you here, and this is also where you're going to see some low time frame confluences that would match and have confluence with the higher time frame target. So in this scenario, wave 5 is already finished, so this yellow one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we already have a 5-wave structure in, and we are currently in a corrective structure. So if I zoom in just a little bit, let's go to the 30 to make it a little bit clearer. You can see that then we have a 3-wave structure in an ABC over here. This was a brilliant short trading, potential trading setup in a recent video. And then this wave C as the news hit over here. So the news hit, we wicked above the highs, moved to the downside, very nice. Now this can be a expanding flat in the A, now looking for a three-wave structure then in this potential B. And what you can see, it starts to be quite messy. Now the reason is, first of all, I wanted to show why did we stop here. We had a daily naked point of control of the previous day over here of the 22nd of March, right here at this level, and on the 30-minute as well of the 15, you can see we did not close any candle above. We wicked into this level and then we moved to the downside. So that is what I wanted to show. So now I can remove that from my chart as well because we touched it, so it's not interesting to me anymore. And then if we look at the wave B target, if this can be an expanded flat, which is then a three-wave, a three-wave over here. This doesn't look too three yet, but hey, a three-wave over here and then eventually a five-wave move to the downside. The most common target for wave B expanding flat is the 1.236 and the 1.38 sitting at 29k to 29.3k. And what you can see now is, we have a weekly time naked point of control here, which is resistance at 29.125, but also, and I think maybe even more important, we have a 6-month wick low. And if I then go to the 6-month chart, what you will see, the 6-month wick low, and we had a little bit of, one could say, like a gap between this level over here and the wick of this candle over here. And now that we are inside this area and almost closing this area, this is going to be a very important resistance area, 29.3k. So actually the lower time frames are now having confluence with the higher time frames as well, which I think is starting to become very, very, very interesting. So in this scenario, we would then have the expanded flat wave B touching preferably then the 6-month wick low before then eventually a move to the downside, which of course can be traded as a potential trading setup. But we also still have the low time frame more bullish scenario, where this then is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with an expanded flat in the 4, which is the most common pattern in a wave 4. Looking for a wave 5 with the targets over here between basically 29k and 29.9k, and just above the 29.9k, the 1.618, we also have a weekly and a weekly naked point of control, which can be interesting as price can wick into these levels and then move to the downside. So potential trading setup is shorting in this area, stop loss safely above, and then eventually moving it to the downside. But I gotta be honest, this wave 4 doesn't look too nice compared to this very, very short wave 2. This 4 looks very, very long, and this does not really look impulsive, because if this is an impulse and a potential 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, then this retracement in a potential then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 already went too deep as it went to the golden pocket. So yeah, it looks more corrective at the moment than that it looks bullish, but hey, that's sometimes the way it is. I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. I'd like to thank you for watching, guys, and subscribing, and I will see you at my next video. Bye bye.